I don't have much on the injury front for you. We're still working through some of the guys. Everybody's making progress, which is a plus. And I'll get it to you in the next couple days here. But we are getting better. And that rest did help in that area. Look forward to the challenge of playing the Cleveland Browns. I mean, we had a bird's eye view of them yesterday, watching them, and they're a good football team, and we knew that coming into it. We had a chance to study them last week, and as we did the other three teams that were involved or potentially involved with playing that we might be playing. So, all in all, we'll start our week of practice tomorrow when we get the guys together, and then work from there. And again, we've got to make sure that we have a good week. So with that, time's yours.
Let's go first to Bob Fesco. Go ahead, Bob.
Hey, Coach. Obviously last year getting that first Super Bowl championship was big for you. Do you feel pressure this time around or going forward to know that, hey, one was good, but hey, there's two out there, there's possibly three out there? Is the pressure more now after you got that first one, or is it the same or maybe not even equal?
Yeah, you try not to look that far ahead. You're trying to look and just make sure that you take care of business against the Browns. And there was anticipation, obviously, to who we would play, but it ended up being the last game of the evening and of the 2 days. So we had a little bit of a wait to find out. But and then once you get that, we're going, and else other than that. So I would tell you, I don't feel any different than I did last year at this time. I'm just trying to make sure all our focus is on the Browns, and everybody had a chance to see how good they are, and it'll take all of that. I mean, we've got to make sure that we keep our eye right on that.
Let's go next to Mick Schaefer. Go ahead, Mick.
Hey, Andy, I was just reflecting on last night's game when the Browns raced out to that 28-0 lead. Steelers played well after that, but I mean, the lead was just too much to overcome. I was wondering if that reminded you of that Texans game in the playoffs last year and made you maybe appreciate more what you guys were able to accomplish being down 24-0.
Well, yeah, I know the feeling. Don't want that feeling, but I'm afraid I could say, yeah, we know that feeling. Proud of what our guys did last year and coming back. Don't want to have that feeling again, though. So, I mean, we want to make sure that we take care of business and we keep it closer than that right there. So
let's go next to Herbie Tiopi. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Coach. Good afternoon. Specific to the Browns, they utilized Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt effectively. And then when you watch that game last night, or even when you go back over the last 4 games they've played, what stands out to you the most of how they utilize those two?
Well, that's where it starts, is with the runners, and then they've got a good quarterback, obviously, and they do play passes off of that, and so. And they make it look just like they do the run plays. So you've got to be able to decipher and then transition. They've got good receivers and tight ends, so you gotta be play physical on those guys, because they do a nice job. And that offensive line does a nice job of the run and pass game.
Go next to Sarin Petro. Go ahead, Sarin.
Coach, I know players are emotional right after games, but there's a video out there, Kareem Hunt saying, hey, next week's personal for me, right? You can understand a guy coming off the field. I'm just curious what your feeling is seeing him in the playoffs playing well and knowing that he's amped up to go against you guys.
Yeah, listen, I like Kareem. I'm glad things are going well for him. I mean, I know he missed, he knows a lot of the guys who were on that team last year and really felt bad about not being a part of that. And, so listen, I get all that, but most of all, I'm happy for him that things are going in the right direction for him, and he's on a good football team. They're well coached, and listen, they won their first playoff game, and there's something to be said about that.
Let's go next to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Andy, just wanted to ask you about the Browns from what you saw last night and what you've seen over the course of the season. Do you get a sense that they are becoming more dynamic on offense, and how opportunistic do you think they can be on defense given the turnovers they got last night against the Steelers?
Yeah, well, defensively. I mean, their front is really, their front seven is tough. I mean, they fly around, make a lot of plays, and their back end does the same thing. I mean, they're going to challenge you, and so you've got to, you got to be ready to go. And they've gotten better, likewise, just as the offense has throughout the season. So, Stefanski's done a heck of a job there, man. I mean, it's what a great job he's done putting this whole thing together and putting guys in the right position. So and it didn't take him very long to figure out who could do what, which is a compliment to both him and his staff. So they've and really on both sides of the ball. So.
Let's go next to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Andy, wanted to ask you about Baker Mayfield. From what you've been able to see from him so far this season, including the game last night, you remember playing against him, coaching against him a couple of years ago when he was a rookie. How have you seen his game evolve in the couple of years since?
Yeah, well, I mean, he's matured on the field. I think he's really fallen in love with this scheme, it looks like, and mastered it. So he's doing very well. That's not an easy thing to do when you've been given a couple different things as a young quarterback, a couple different schemes to, try to be the best at. That's not easy to do for these quarterbacks. A lot of guys get lost in that, and looks like he's really powered through it and done a nice job.
Let's go next to Vahe Gregorian. Go ahead, Vahe.
Hey, Andy, I guess two parts to this. One, I just wonder, you probably didn't dwell on it too much, but what do you suppose it would have been like for Kevin to be in the situation he was as the coach last week, and what that would have been like for you to try to deal with?
Yeah, he's probably going crazy with it. I mean, that's not easy to do, although he probably got a jump on watching tape on us. So he got an early, or some early scores there that he could kind of figure out where he was going to go and what he was going to do. So, but listen, that can't be easy. I mean, that's a tough thing. He's put a lot of time and effort into being the head football coach there. So, and for a moment like that.
And the other part too, it's probably just, become second nature by now, but as you think about it now, going into the playoffs, what stands out to you the most about how different it is to just have the dynamics of COVID in whether it's the locker room or your own communications? What hits you the most?
Well, it's the ultimate game of dodgeball, man. You're trying to dodge this son of a buck as best you can and do the things you're supposed to do so that you don't get it and the guys don't get it. And unfortunately, it's out there. I mean, it's and hopefully we're getting to a point where we can get it knocked out here in the somewhat near future. So, but for right now, you got to be as careful as you possibly can. And it's unique. I mean, it's unique for everybody. It's not just, football. We're just a microcosm of the world, So, I mean, we're doing the same things other people are trying to do and wear their masks and social distance and wash your hands and all those basic things. Try to do them the best we can.
Let's go next to Sam McDowell. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Andy. We've talked a lot this year about you taking teams' best shots. I'm wondering if that's what you anticipate in the playoffs, or if you anticipate yet another level of that. And if so, I mean, do you change any preparation at all for the postseason in general, or do you kind of stick with what worked last year?
Yeah, well, I mean, we kind of do what we do practice-wise, and We understand though that the games are faster every level you get to, and we didn't play this level, so we skipped over this one. So we know we're going to get a team that's playing fast, is going to be amped up, and that's part of it. That's part of the playoffs. I mean, it's single elimination, so every game you're going to get everybody's best game, and potentially. So you got to be. It's not because of anything you've done before. I mean, you're in the dance here to in a single elimination situation. So everybody's got to play the best of their ability, both sides, both teams.
Got time for a couple more. We'll go Pete and then Robert. Go ahead, Pete.
Good afternoon, Coach. I know that Coach Stefanski got his initial start in the NFL as a summer intern in the early 2000s under you, and then quickly left with Brad to go to Minnesota. If anything, what do you remember about that time, and why do you think Brad was so fond of him to bring him along?
Yeah, well, Brad thinks the world of him. He's a good kid, and but most of all, he's a good football coach, and he's worked his tail off. He's done everything from emptying the garbage on up, man. I mean, he's worked his way up from the bottom up. So he done a real nice job with it, and he's humble, which is important too. So he keeps it all in perspective. Good person.
We'll go last to Robert Rimson. Go ahead, Robert.
Hey, Coach. It seems like we're in a new era when it comes to the NFL, especially in the AFC. I mean, all the quarterbacks that are left are like super young guys, Josh Allen, Patrick, Baker, et cetera, et cetera. Just I want to get your thoughts on this new era. What do you think about all these young QBs taking over and some similarities to the era?
Robert, I think it's great for the game. To have this influx of new guys at that position. It's great for viewers, fans, cities. I mean, it gives these different cities an opportunity to compete, and the parity is already great, and then you add in this influx of quarterbacks. I think it even takes it up another notch, and so I'm all in. I mean, I love it. It's great competition.